Yay, I'm back with a Yu-Gi-Oh video for the first time in like 4,000 years. Uh, yeah, I basically decided that I wanted to take a break from the game. The game's just kind of been stressing me out a bit, and there's a whole bunch of bloody scrubs I had to put up with on Dueling Network and all of that jazz, and it's just kind of annoying the crap out of me, and just, yeah, so I decided I needed a bit of time away from it. I'm technically still, like, on break, but I thought I might as well show off something that isn't Brutal Doom or Pokemon Soul Silver. So for today, we've got a Constellar deck profile. This is the point where I give a shout out to Darkness in 1989 for hooking me up with the bits and bobs that I needed to finish this off. So yeah, many thanks to him, and wishing him good luck, because I believe as I am filming this, he is participating in YCS San Mateo. So good luck to him with and all that sort of jazz. Bloody haven't been on Skype for freaking weeks, so might as well just, yeah, letting everybody know that I'm still alive. So anyways, might as well get this list over and done with. So starting off, we've got triple cows. Aside from the fact that it goes moo, it also works well with level modulation. No, not the card, but it fixes around with cards. I don't know why I thought of level modulation. Well, must have had the Chaz deck stuck in my head. But basically, put this onto board with another one. You can make both of those. You can both make both itself and another monster level 5. Can also drop them to 3, but that's irrelevant for this deck since I don't run rank 3s. 1800 beat stick, very, very good. Beast warrior as well, so you have searchability with the tankies and stuff like that. Then there's Triple Pollux. It's related to Castor in such a way that they're actually brothers. That the whole bloody story, lore thingamabobs is like that they're brothers and everything. Right down to the point where they even have the same ruling. This is ruled the same way as Castor, so you can't valor this. If you negate something with warning, or if you have like if you have skill drain on the board before this thing hits the board, they're the only methods to stop Pollux. Stuff like Finish Chain won't work. Stuff like Valor will not work. Then we have Algidi, something that Valor would work on, but you know what? This is the sort of the deck where you really, really want to get to your bloody Exceed plays. So I figured there's not really any real reason to not run triple Algidi. Some people want to run 2. I'd say fair play to them, and there's not much else I can say about it. You know, you can just you can Valor that, and you can do the maxi stuff like that, but that's one of those, it's basically just one of those necessities, and in some cases you'll have to just commit through it. Double Sombre. Now this is the interesting sort of choice. I basically decided to go with Double Sombre because I want to see it, but I don't want to see it too often. I did a bit of testing with it at 3, and I found myself opening with this thing being all cloggy and whatnot, and I would open with this, and I would just not draw into a whole bunch of other monsters, so which would therefore render it completely useless. So I'm giving 2 a shot for now. I mean, you can always run 3. Like, I have the freedom to go for the 3rd one because I have a 3rd copy of this, unlike Correction. But yeah, I just found 3 to be a bit douchebag like to me in the fact that it's being all cloggy. Okay, other stuff. Thunder King, because it just fits the general light theme of the deck. One bear. I did have 2 of these, but I decided to cut one of these in favor of a random tech gorilla. Just basically to back up the MSTs and the lances and whatnot. It's just sort of there. You know, you can run over an opponent's hidden monster, get a tanky search and that sort of jazz. So I figured it was worth a bit of a shot. It's sort of proven its worth, but it still might come out of the deck because it's still a bit to me. So, Honest, because I mean, it's a light deck. And then other hand traps, I've got just the 1 Maxi and the 1 Valor because I'm just having to work with what I've got, and the other 2 copies I have of these cards are in the Chaos Dragon build, so. Oh well. I came 3rd at a locals with 1 Maxi and 1 Valor in an Evil Swarm deck, so there's no reason why I can't put up as much of an effort with 1 of each in this deck, so why not? Anyway, spells. Double star chart. I don't see a lot of players running this, so I guess you could consider this sort of a tech. I actually kind of like it, because you get a draw whenever Constellar exceeds a special summoned. So, and that goes off once per turn, and it's actually kind of cool. I kind of like it, because it just maintains that little bit of extra feel, hand presence. There's a couple of tankies, because, yeah, I've got to do tankies and search. And then another random tech was a Tensu. I actually did find myself in a situation where I basically went Pollux into cows, they veiled the cows, and then I'm just like, okay, you know what? Go Tensu. Drop another cows from the hand, and then go for the big plays regardless. And it's actually pretty good. And I had I used the Pollux as one of the cows so that the other cows would still have the 100-point boost off of the tanky. Okay, then for last search card is Rotor, because you get to your Pollux. Double Lance, because this deck does not have its own infestation pandemic, unlike Evil Swarms, which are busted as hell. 3 MSTs, because you back row hate, and then Book of Moon and Dark Hole. Traps now. Xyz Reborn. This works brilliantly with the Pleiades, because you just bring it back and then you just be like, detach, haha, and just do shenanigans and that sort of jazz. 1 Compulse, 1 D Prison, 1 Bottomless, 1 Torrential, 1 Solemn Warning, just generic sort of cards that you probably would run 1 copy of. D Prison's the sort of the odd one out, because you can run 2 of those. The other one I've got's in my Blackwing deck, and I'd rather just have 1 of each, because I don't really feel like I need two of them in one deck. Double Fiendish Chain, and then double Mirror Force, because I love Mirror Force. Mirror Force Rex Face. Extra deck. 1 Omega. I have the option to go for a second one because I do have it. Just giving 1 a shot for now, because you only really need 1 for the build anyway. So 1 Praespy. I don't know how it's pronounced. I just pronounce it the way I just did, or just Beehive. Pretty damn good backup for the Omega. It's actually pretty cool. Violent Sigma. Ever since Shockmaster got banned, I sort of felt like this deck needed something that required 3 materials to go into. This isn't necessarily the best option, but I sort of just came up with the idea of using this because it's sort of Catasta-like, because you can just suck up one of the opponent's monsters and just auto-nuke them when you battle them. And of course it's light, it fits in with the deck, so you can honest and stuff like that, and 2500 is not too bad. I might still cut it for Ouroboros, because I've got that going spare now that the Evil Swarm deck's out of action. Emerald, because, yeah, no avarice. Dynamo, this thing's bloody awesome. Cowboy. My Stroke. Beast Dweller. And that's the rank 4s. 5s is the double Pleiades. I have a 3rd copy of this, but but you're not going to see it in this deck. Hell no. You really do not need 3 Pleiades. 2's like, I wouldn't say 2 is entirely necessary, but 2 is pretty much ideal. Because if anything happens to the first one, you got that second one there as backup. Plus you got all the other rank 5s to back up, like Tyrus, just because it's Tyrus. Adrius, because it's good as a virus target and just to pop some shit. Volcasaurus, because it's broken. And that would be all the rank 5s. I was about to show off, yeah, Ptolemy's the only, yeah, it's Ptolemy. I don't know if I'd even run more than 1 of this if it was at anything higher than 1, but I don't know. I guess the fact that it's at 1 does help, because I'd probably run multiple copies of it, and then I wouldn't have any for my Chaos Dragon deck. And then to finish the extra deck is the Gaia Dragon, because Gaia Dragon Rex Face. I did have a Shark Fortress in here, which was there for the sole purpose of the OTK strategy. I basically decided that the OTK strategy was not an absolute necessity for the deck, and that's why so I cut it out for the Tyrus. Okay, side deck, just kind of something I put together It's a bit weird like that. Couple of diners for that. Couple of viruses, a couple electric viruses for dragon shit. One chalice for effect negation backup sort of jazz. System down because machines are going to be freaking busted as hell. 2 spell shattering arrows. This sort of this is actually kind of interesting because there's a whole bunch of decks that run spells that remain face up on the field. Like you've got you've got your Dragon Ravines, Five Fists, which run a whole bunch of their face up spell cards and stuff like that, and the Rogue Samurai matchup, which might still be running stuff like Dojo and 6M United. You can always do that. Anything with a field spell. So you just flip this up. You can nuke multiple cards, and the opponent gets extra burn damage out of it. Destroys all face-up spell cards the opponent controls, and then for each one, the opponent is burnt for 500 damage, which is quite awesome. I actually had that idea in the mind for quite a while, because I basically decided, let's just have a situation where I go up against a 6 Samurai player. They go Dojo United Gateway, and then I'm just like, yeah, use this. They cry. Sided traps, one of each of the viruses, because they're just sort of there. Double heraldry record, which is freaking awesome. This is essentially a divine wrath for shit like Dracosac and Big Eye. And the effect of opponent's exceeds monster is activated by detaching its own seized materials. You negate the activation if you do destroy it. So it's pretty much just like, okay, sure, I'll get my Turkus of Dracosac? No, you don't. Steal that monster, thank you very much? No. And if I don't have Heraldry Record to deal with Big Eye, then I'll just use my Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. It's not that big a deal. And the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is not going to hurt me that much, because even if I have Adrius on board, the likelihood is that I'll end up using Adrius to tribute for the virus play or go for Gaia Dragon. So I can get my way around that. So that's that for the Constellar setup. It's obviously not what people would consider to be standard. I mean, most people play a control variant with Vanity's Emptiness. I cannot get my hands on Vanity's Emptiness, which really sucks, because as much as I'm getting sick and tired of seeing Dragon Rulers everywhere, I've been considering putting a Dragon Ruler deck together, and I just can't get my hands on Vanity's Emptiness, so I may just have to wing it and try one without it. So, oh well. We'll have to see what happens then. So, for now, this is it. See you for probably next video is going to be freaking Brutal Doom. Although I will have to get the Elite Four from Soul Silver up at some point, because X and Y is coming out in a week, and I'm going to be focused on that thing and whatnot. So, yeah, see you whenever.